In part 1, we have discussed the creation of the different style elements which we will use in our database. But in part 2, we are creating now a form that the artist can choose from which style they prefer, and they have to simply fill out simple questions. And then we are asking them if they are interested in collaboration with us by applying to a program. In this video, I'm not covering the affiliate program, but all I can say is if you're interested in that, we can create another video where I'm going into the detail. For this program, we are using Partnero, which is absolutely amazing and super easy to set up. All the terms and conditions will be basically automated inside of Partnero. Let's just go into the step here. So what we want to create next is a fill out form inside of Airtable. Here we have already our basis that we covered. Of course, we have to clean up here a lot, but that's something we can do later on. We can also change the names and so on. So for now, we're gonna connect our sync base with our existing music artist database. So we connected here our synced view, but for this purpose, let's just select everything that is not important here currently. So we do not need those things. I think that's fine. Here we have the base of the artist that we have worked with. And now we want, of course, to create the form. Here, let's just go and check out what we want here. Again, I would always recommend to do like a slight overview. So what we want here is once it has been filled out, it's triggering then a new product. We have the artist name, the lyrics, the style. As of now, that's fine. But then, of course, we later on want a basic name. So we want a city. We have the city and then the number and then the collection name field, which is then a formula. Let's go and let's build this one. So again, like when we do this one, it will help us later on to get the big overview and we can enhance it further. Let's do a base from scratch. And let's just choose the fields here. So what we want is a collection name and in the first place, but this will be a formula, but let's do that later on. What we need is the artist name. For that, they have to choose themselves. So we need a linked record to the artist field. Then the lyrics, this will be the question they have to fill in, the style they have to choose. So for that, we have to connect it to our mood board style and then city. And the number. So for this, we create an auto number. I want this collection name. Let's just use again here the A by creating the formula. And let's see if the I is able. So we have the artist, name, city, edition, volume, and the number. Let's see if it's doing a great job. Sometimes it is, most of the time actually. If not, we have to adjust it manually. Let's just say this one here. We do not need artist name. Let's take this out, because we have it here already. Then we have the city, edition, volume, number. We just choose another one as example here. So here, then we can choose, of course, the style. Not every style has been covered yet. That's something we can build on later. And then city, let's just say he was performing in Makati. So artist name, Makati, volume 1. So that's like then the collection name. And then we just adjust it with then the item name afterward. Let's try something, because maybe some of the artist name are all in caps lock. Let's try to ask artist name and city name all in cap. Here we go. That looks good. Let's try another one. Perfect. Then we just have to create a questionnaire. And what we want also maybe is a check field if the artist is happy or not, because then we send the automation to a prefill field and ask the artist if he's happy or not. And if he's happy, that's the moment where we trigger then a new product. So let's do this one here. So check, let's call it happy. and then a pre-field filled. So what do we have now? Here in the formula, we basically use the form from this table here, which is just a duplicate. And here we can see we have two forms. We have the new form, the style, the lyrics, the city, and happy or do it again, those two fields. And then we have the artist, which we can hide, and the questionnaire. This is just for the update, which we can hide as well. So what are we doing in this formula? We input here the form with the thing. What we are saying is basically pre-fill a couple of options here. Pre-fill the city. So take this form and pre-fill what's here inside city, pre-fill what's here inside of lyrics, and pre-fill also the questionnaire with the record ID. Now you can do it in a different way where you can just take the components, but you can also use the field record ID. So this is up to you. So questionnaire and artist. How is it looking like? So when we go to the link, this is basically what the artists receive. So here they can say, okay, I'm happy, and they just press happy. But if they want to do it again, then this is basically what they see. Of course, we can now do a conditional logic that we can say, okay, we just have those two fields here. Let's just do it. So here in our update, what we want is to move this up. And now we want those to be visible only if they select do it again. Let's select here filter only when do it again is on. So let's see how the form is looking. Okay, this is not the form that the person would see, but let's just test this one out. So on the first form, when they receive an email, now this is all they see, because this would be fine enough, because they would also receive another link. Now they just have those two options. Either they are happy or do it again. Of course, we could also create a select field here, but I think this is just fine. So if they select do it again, now we see they have the option to change the style, to change the lyrics, and to change city. Although maybe we leave the city, we can just take it out because we do not want them to change the city. So this is okay so far. And of course, we have to update the description there. So now what we have to do is, now that they have pre-filled this one, actually it just creates another record. So when we are changing something, it creates another record, but we need to create also an automation that updates the record. So let's just do an example here. Update this record. So what's happening is when we submit this form, it will be displayed here. And as we can see, we have update this record. Now, if we would just use the pre-filled form, nothing would happen actually, because we are not telling it yet to update the things here inside the questionnaire. So what we have to do is build an automation where we say, okay, look at this table when something new is created, then update the record inside. Now we have to take care, not the questionnaire update, but inside the questionnaire table. And here we then have to select the questionnaire record ID. So we can edit the token and then choose the record ID. So just to be sure. And then of course, everything that we want to be updated. So lyrics, style, happy or not, because then once this is built, everything should work fine. And of course, the more we have here inside, the more records we need to update. Now, there is a last step that is looking complicated, and if there is an easier way, let me know, but I couldn't find an easier way, because the problem is usually the auto number is always working fine. So I've created the auto number, but then when I tested the record, the pre-fill, the problem was, let's just say now we are here on ID 2, right? And the problem is when I create a new record, look at this one. So now we are at ID 14, and there is no easy way to just showcase a sequential number. Now there are of course a couple of options, but writing the script was, at least for me, the simplest one. Now this looks complicated, but you can just do a screenshot here and then it should work. Because now, let's say we take this artist here, the style, this artist, and let's just change another artist maybe. Now let's just assume he would happy. Let's send him this link, and now he would just choose, yeah, I'm happy, and I submit this form. What's happening now is like the automation, as we can see, is changing also that he is happy, but also the sequential number is 3, so it's always in the right order. I think there was a mistake here, so let's just update the automation to be sure that everything's running. So maybe I selected the wrong fields here, so let's just do it again. So here we have to choose all the fields that we want to be updated. So let's do another one. Style. And test it again. Now let's just go to the prefill form and let's say I'm happy, submit this one and go. The number is working, but the prefill not. Let me just check what happened. The automation seems to be fine. I guess it's because we hide those fields. That's something I have to figure out in a bit, but let's just change the visibility for now and let's delete those filters. And let's test if that is working, if that was the cause. Or let's just make the form a bit nicer. Let's just test this one out and let's see if it's better now. Let's create here a new artist. Here we can select this one more time. Probably it's not pre-filling it when they're hidden, but I have to check this one. That's something also new to me. Let's just press happy and update this one here. Date, and let's choose its style, submit, and let's go here. So let's try it again. I actually haven't changed anything, so let's try it and let's just copy here and write first test and go to the link and was not fast enough. Let's just close this one here and let's do the prefill. Here we go, test, and yeah, I'm happy. I choose the style. Let's write update and I hope doing what it should supposed to do. Here we go, update, we have happy, and we have also the number. So it's working now. So just to summarize, we created the prefill where we prefilled here each item inside the form. But if we hide the items, it seems not to work. I have to research on that one. But so far it's working and I think it's fine enough. So I just add the description and I think I can live with this one here. If I have time, I research on it. So let's just move on to the next thing. And that is that once they do I'm happy with the product, we can then trigger to multiply the product basically into all the categories. So to just visualize what happened is we sent them first a form and ask with the form, once they completed the form, send the email. So we send them an email with the message and also the image. And once we send them the form, we ask, are they happy? So we give them this decision. So that makes it more cost efficient. So should they not be happy, we do not have to use all the credits and do all the products again. So if they are happy, we then trigger something and create the other products. So if happy, yes, then we trigger and create. Now we ask them if they're happy, redo, until they are happy and it goes to yes, then it creates the other products. For that, we of course need a webhook, and let's do the webhook and send it to the automation. Before we go to the webhook, I just updated the form quickly so it's more clear now. And also the status update. Here they can write 2 to 3 sentences about their song. Choose the city. That's a field I also have updated because I just thought when they enter the city, that might lead to different cities because maybe they have a different name for their city or write it in a different way. So in order to avoid that, I just connected to another sync record, and here they can just choose from the city list. So that should be clear. Also, one thing I updated really quick here, inside the form before, the script was down here below as a next action, but actually it would make way more sense to generate it once they fill out the form. The reason is when we want to send to the webhook, it should already include the number. So that is important because that will basically be our name for the collection. So that's why this is important. We can change here the call. Maybe we do it this way. So the next thing is inside the form, there is one thing missing here in terms of the the style, I want to also paste here the other view. So in our mood board, we have this gallery view and we do not need all the keywords. All we need is basically the name and the images. So here we can customize the card for them so that they have the name. We do not need a long description, no need for the category and so on, so that when they click, they have to rate directly the name. That's something we have to do. And since images are missing, because in the previous automation I didn't include the attachment creation, we can just do it by applying a simple extension here from Airtable directly. From now on, we do not have to do that, but there is already here, you can go to scripts and they have a couple of templates and we can just choose convert URL to attachment. And that's the easiest and fastest way if we just need those images here for now. So here we select the mood board, select the image URL and select the attachment field. Here we go. We want to skip all those stuff and let's see, and here we go. Now we have all the images and the gallery is looking good. So now they can really choose which image they like. All we have to do is share the view. So for now we can just close this one here and we have to share this view, create a new link, copy the link, and let's see how it's looking. This is what the artist would see. So they open it, they can make it bigger to understand. This is a nice image. And for the explanation, like what's happening in the background, that's something we can then create inside of our homepage so that we send them a link. Hey, why should you choose the style, and explain what's happening. So all they need to do is copy the name and let's say they like this image here once they fill out the form here. So now when they choose the style and paste the name, they can find exactly the image they want on their products. What we want now is of course this gallery view. We want it here inside. All good. We do not need a password. Let's just move on here. And this link will be also on the homepage, but this will not be covered in this video. We do not need to include this one because it will be already explained in the how-to guide. But as always, easier if you just have the link here directly so they can copy it should they forget the style. Let's just go back here and do the same in the other form so that should they forget it, they have it here directly so that they can change. And we do not need to explain now the style because I think that's something we have done in this stage before. So I think that's fine. So here they can, if ever, just use this link. Now we could of course short this link a little bit, use a link shortener, but yes, that's fine for now. So we have to think about the webhook. So initially our webhook was done in a way that we send it when this new prompt here was created. But that was just test this automation. But what we want actually is, of course, the webhook should be created once we have a new submission here. What we also want is to create, based on the mood board, the lyrics interpretation, a new updated version. So how are we doing it? Here inside we have of course the style. So let's just select the style and let's just say we want the golden one. Of course need the description from this other table. So how we can do that is just adding here a lookup table where we can select the long description. And if we need more, we can of course add later on, but that's fine for now. That's all we need here. So here we have the long description of the golden Craig's portrait and we have the lyrics. What we need now is a new field for the new prompt because we want to send the automation like when the field has been created and the new prompt is basically ready, because we do not want to send the webhook if the new prompt is not ready. So therefore we need to create a new field here and let's just do a long text and let's call it also new prompt. Now we just want to utilize for the new prompt Strico, the API, using directly Airtable. And what we can do here is just take the script, copy it all and paste it inside of ChatGPT. But before we do that, we need actually the prompt itself. So we have first to create a prompt. So there are of course many ways to do a prompt, but I have created here a specialized GPT in creating those prompts for me. So let's just write here something. I asked, hey, based on a style description and a song interpretation, I would like to create a new prompt, a new image. And here are 2 examples. Maybe this is a little bit too long. Let's see what we get. So here, that's good. Act as a visual artist skilled in combining song interpretations with visually represents a song interpretation, combining the specific thematic elements and artistic styles. Let's just copy it into my base here. And then now what we need to do is actually quite simple. We can create a new chat and go and take one of the scripts here. Again, like those are the dummy scripts because I cannot show the API keys in my exact script, but just to showcase how easy it is, can copy the script here. And all we need to do now is to paste the whole script here, and let's see what model we have used, GPT-4o. But now all we need to do is, of course, type in, hey, use my table name, use the fields here, XYZ, there you go. And then, of course, you can tell it to get rid of those explanations here. So I just tell it, like, take out the explanation, change the table name to questionnaire, then use those fields here, long description from style, long description from style, and lyrics. So here lyrics, and our output field is new prompt. And let's see what it's doing. Okay, it didn't took out the explanation field, but everything else is looking good. So we have here the prompt, lyrics is lyrics, and long description, the field name was not clear, but yeah, it's working good. Now you have to put your API key and adjust it to whatever you're liking. And I would just recommend to take out the explanations, ask GPT to do it again, but I'll skip this part now. So now I just duplicated the base, input the script. I haven't tested that one. I just trust that GPT is doing a good interpretation, and if not, we can just correct this one. So now what we need to do here is, instead of the old one going to the mood board, and I've just turned this off, inside the questionnaire, what we want is when either it's not happy or if it's empty. So the condition should be happy is like that, or do it again. The reason is, if happy is not checked, so when we received a new form submission and it's not checked, that's basically triggering it. But if they want to do it again, it's triggering it again. And of course, that should then work. Now let's try to run and choose a record here, this one as example, and let's test the action. When successful, let's see if the output was also successful. Let's go here. Oh, absolutely not successful. So we have definitely to change the prompt, but we have to understand the output here. So storyboard for song interpretation. Let's try another one. So let's test this one out, but instead of the script, let's just paste this one here. I think the issue is also that because we mentioned storyboard artist, the issue might be that I think we want a storyboard, of course, like scene 1, scene 2, etc. But what we want is not the storyboard, but just one image. So I just mentioned we do not want just one image, and let's just copy this one without reading it into a new chat, and let's see if it's working. So let's just go. Okay, so here we have a new chat, and when we paste it, let's see what's happening. Oh, it's creating an image. So that's not what we want. That's the problem if it contains like a detailed image description like that. The image itself is the right direction. That's perfectly what we wanted. Like the outcome is good, but what we want is not the outcome, but the description. Okay, I think this prompt here should work, but let's try it out. Yeah, so I just tried this one out, and here we have a clear image description. So this is perfect. The output seems also to be that what we are looking for. So now we can just change the prompt, and let's do it again. Choose a record, choose the same one, and run the script. And let's just go into the base directly and wait for the new prompt. Okay, perfect. Let's read. And here's the new interpretation. I just tested this one first before we run it into the automation. I think the images themselves aren't looking that good. I prefer the older one. Yeah, the interpretation is correct, but the images, at least the quality of them, aren't that great. Yeah, but this should be fine enough. We are playing with the prompt prompt a little bit more to figure out if we can enhance the prompt itself. But I tested one more time just to see if T was just not doing a good job. And actually this one is way better. That is not looking too generic like before. I think this maybe is fine enough, but just to be sure, maybe we should really test this one out further first and then tell already in the image description prompt that we should really understand the image also in terms of if it's like photorealistic, like the characteristics a little bit better. But again, like that's something we have to figure out when we are doing it, maybe with real artists and what they are typing. And maybe the first iterations aren't that good, but when we have 4 or 5 artists filling out the form, I guess the update will be really simple then to do, because now we have something to work with. So all we need to do now is update also the webhook. Here we have to select the mood board and go to the questionnaire and select the trigger. If we have the new prompt is not empty, or we have to do it again, is good. So here we go. And what we want now is to add an Airtable record. So let's just test this one out. So test the action, and here we go. We have retrieve, and as always, it's always like giving this arrow, but what it's doing, because also I haven't selected the base. Okay, so now it's working. Let's just connect now Airtable base, and we want the prompt not here, but we want it from here. We want this also to update the title. So here we can update the title, create a name made up for an artist. Actually, I'm not sure if we keep the title generator or we just take our title from here. I think the title from here is fine enough. So for this one, we probably, let's just deconnect it first and do here the image description. So I think we can leave the image description. It's taking the generated image prompt, and we can just add one more automation that takes the interpretation of the song and just maybe extend that a little bit so that we can use like this one here as the main description. But then if someone wants to know more or more details, we can use what is coming from the artist themselves. Okay, this is fine. And now what we want is to update this one here. The logo, the image could be fine. Create a product. Now here is something we want now from here, the collection name, that's fine. And here what we want is the collection name. Okay, and then publish the product should also be fine. So I think we can delete this one here. And now let's just realign it. Great. And I would say let's just test this out. Okay, perfect. Let's go to Airtable and let's just imagine now we would be the artist. So we share the form, copy the link, and would fill this out now from their perspective. So again, we would send them an email which explains the process. That's why it's something they should know already about, and now they could fill it out. So here, this is my song, choose the city. So let's say I'm from Manila. I choose the artist. Let's say I'm this one. And here I choose the style, and let's just say I would know already what I would choose. Let's just choose this one here, or maybe another one. Let's try the Golden Craigs portrait again. So let's then submit, and we go to the data view. So we have here now artist volume 2, and here we go. We have the new prompt created, and we should see a new product anytime soon. But we forgot something. We want to connect this product, of course, with the questionnaire. Otherwise, we don't know like to which artist it belongs. So that's something we should have been doing, but I forgot about it. And of course, we have to clean the base. Super messy as of now. We have the new interpretation, and let's see how it's looking. Perfect. Wow. That's actually really great. I love this one. Absolutely amazing, especially with the lyrics I gave it. Super nice. Perfect. I love it. And now we could, of course, test if the other products are working, but they should work because we have tested that before already. So let's just change for now the questionnaire, because again, we want this one to be connected with our questionnaire. So all we have to do here is to select the questionnaire. And here we can just select the record ID that is coming from the questionnaire. We can test that later on, but as of now, let's assume we have him already in our base here. So now we want to connect which part? Okay, this guy here. So let's connect this one. What we want here is to display a lookup field to check if he's happy, because that will be then our trigger. So here inside, if he's happy, that sends then the automation to create the other products. As I've mentioned, we have two options. Either we select all those single products, or we just build like an automation that sends all the products that are in our catalog already and create all the products without selecting them. Like in the beginning I was not sure, but after working for a while I think really that makes more sense, because that will eliminate one manual step, and the less manual we are, the better actually. So let's do that in the next round or in a bit. Let's think first what else we need. So we have the artist name, that's done. Now we need the SKU, that's something we can do later on, and the description based on the lyric meaning. Let's check the description actually out. Is it good enough for the first product here? Yeah, that's actually good enough, because it was like I gave it something about a turbulent relationship, so it understood it with cracks and central and so on. So yeah, that's actually working good. So I think the description is fine enough for now. SKU is something which we have to do in a bit. That's not important now. So let's just generate the other images, but let me just restructure the whole base with the router, because I do not want those to be triggered single one by one. Yeah, I spent the time doing it, but again, like sometimes you just realize things while you're building, and yeah, now I'll do that. But I'm also not using this account, but my own make.com account, because I have way more credits there. So let's just create something from scratch there. So now we have reconnected everything. What I've also done is to delete the OpenAI integrations and just connect it with Trico. Let's make it run for now, and let's see if it's working. I have also created another automation, which basically is just checking if this view, so questionnaire, the lookup table, happy is been checked. Let's see if it's working. So here it's waiting, and let's see how it will perform. So let's go to the questionnaire, and let's assume the artist will be happy with the image and press yes, I'm happy. Okay, the automation should be triggered, but again, like not from this table, but from that with the lookup table. And here we go, it's running now. As we can see, it's working. That is actually perfect. Let's see if the products are also here. Yes, they are coming one by one now. Perfect. That is looking great. So let's just check them out, maybe in a gallery view. So here we go. Our new products are ready. So here, the collection. Of course, now we could add really more products if you like, and you just need to build the system once, and now you have unlimited products. So this is looking pretty great. Now we are actually already almost done. Of course, we have to clean the tables a bit, but what we can do is to write an email. So let's think about this one. After the product has been completed, what we want is basically to write them an email, but not right away. So here is how we can do that. So here we can just create a formula, and for this, or let's just create first an updated field. So last update here, and now again we can just use the built-in AI here. Ago. So yeah, let's do this one, and let's just maybe say if not then not ready. So just that this one isn't empty. I mean, that would work already, but here we go. So we have those fields that are saying they are not ready yet. Sorry, let's just change this one here into waiting. The reason is I want to use the word ready as trigger. So that means like when this is ready, we can then create an automated email saying that we absolutely love the product, how the outcome was, and ask them if they are also happy if we can create other products similar to the outcome. And I think we need a couple of emails, so an email sequence actually, but we will not do all the emails right now. So here we can then go to a new section, and this one will be for the emails. And what I would do, ChatGPT can really help here in creating a great format because we can just use the markdown format with all the links and also the copy. Let's just go to ChatGPT and do that one. So a pretty simple email here. And let's just say we are good with this email. And now we can use the trigger that we just created. So in our questionnaire field, we have the condition ready status. And when it contains ready, then it should send the email to the artist. And here, something we have to do later on is to connect it with our Gmail account. If we want to use like our professional account, which would be possible, we would then use another service or just use like Make.com active pieces, or we use the built-in Airtable email, but that always makes it less personal. So yeah, I probably choosing later on the Gmail, but for now I'll just use this one. Also the to email that has not been yet done because those informations I cannot share, so I'll leave it blank, but let's just do info@gmail.com for the testing. This is not so good. I have to change the copy, but let's go link of the image. I think we can just skip this one and just attach here the images and then try out the product again. So I just have to put some time and write something that aligns with how we would like to have at the end of the day. So here we can then connect the prefill form, and let's just say this is fine for the subject. Let's just use this one here. Okay, so here we have the products, and I'm not sure if the attachments are working, but we can also include those as links. That would work as well. So when we go to the other link, the prefill link, we should go to the form that is pre-filled. Perfect. And they can here choose if they are happy or do it again. This is good. And now let's just do the other test here with the attachments. So we have here the images and attach generate a preview. Let's see. And yep, here we go. So we have the attachments and the images. Not sure. Okay, that's not the right link because I want the public link. Let's change this one here to the attachments, product images, attachment URL. But what we want is the viewer URL, probably this one, because we have 4 images. We have to separate them, the images, but that's a bit too complicated. We just leave it with attachment actually. So then I'll just take this one out. I take this one out and do the attachments, and let's test this one out. Okay, so here's the automation. Perfect. It's actually working. I just tested this one out here. So we have here the copy. The bad thing, of course, is like there is always the Airtable branding if I use this email. But again, like we changed this one to Gmail. Here we can then see the attachment, the original image, and then the phone cases 1, 2, 3. Perfect. That's something I have then to adjust. And of course, I have to connect here the email coming from the main source. So in our case, the artist database, that's absolutely something that we have then to replace with a dynamic value here. Of course, the copy itself needs to be changed. So another email sequence could be actually to go to one of those products. Let's just say he press I'm happy. Then what we need definitely is is also here a period of time. So you're gonna use the same formula, which we can just copy, but this time we are waiting a bit longer. Instead of 5 hours, we just pretend it took us, I don't know, 24 hours or even longer. Formula, we just type this one in, and here let's just do 30 hours. Okay, so here we have then the trigger, and now of course we have to take care because we do not want to send like 1 million emails here. So that means like what we have to do is just to choose like one product. So for example, this one here. And so what we need to do is to create here a trigger inside of new products, change the condition to calculation. Okay, the name is bad. Let's just do the same name here because then it's easier to understand the whole process. Let's go ready status and then go back to the automation and choose ready status contains ready. Now what we want to do is also change the email here. And now this time the to must come from this field here. Also a lookup table, which I cannot show again because I do not have dummy data for this one. So here, lookup table, and then of course we need to create a lookup table in the questionnaire to the artist basically, where we can then take the email. But now what we want else is, again, we need to limit this one. So let's just use this one here, Fanny. So what we are then saying, like every time Fanny is done, Fanny pack, because the names are always the same. Like here, this is the variable that's changing, but Fanny pack itself, that will not change. So what we need to do here is add on the condition. So not only that it needs to be ready, but on the product name, it contains Fanny pack. That really limits everything to those two options. Like when it's ready and it includes Fanny pack, then we send an email that says like, hey, so we can not send any attachments on this one, and I think on this one, we do not need to be personal here because it's just a reminder. And here we can just say like, hey, you know what? Check out our Wix store. Here is the main link. Your product is ready, and just look for this name here. This is your collection name. This is your name. And here is how you can find it. The email that is not really dynamic. It's the same email that every artist receives. So as we can see here, again, like the prices, we need to update those ones. That's something I have to go more into depth to understand like the pricing structure a bit better, so that we can then make a good pricing structure for our products here. But we can see that the automation actually pushed all the way through our Wix store, and we can see that we have all the options here for the hoodie, and we have here the unisex pullover hoodie. There is the phone case. That is not right. Let's check if this one only applies to this product. That's something that has to be updated in the automation. When we checked here the copy, which is coming from here, it takes the description from before. So that means what we want here is, because the description includes the phone copy. So when we go here, let's just check this one. Let's just change that one because there was a misunderstanding in the prompt. Instead, what we want is a lookup table from this field here. And what we want is the new prompt. Now we have this copy here, which we can then take and explain here inside. Instead of the description, what we now want is the new prompt. So let's just cut the trigger here because we do not want to create new products. We want first, because the Airtable base has been updated. So what we want is first to send only this new field here into the get. Okay, let's trigger this one. Wait for this new field, because I think that's then the only change we have to do. Now we should have the prompt here. Here we go, which is actually quite long. So we can just create another prompt, maybe like summarizing that one, and then use the summary to feed all those prompt completion. So what we can do is copy this one, copy and paste. Now we could create here another prompt that is using this one so that the description do not have such a long token, because if we multiply this by really a lot of products, I think that will sum up. So here we can just create a product description and then we use the prompt here. Let's just see if this one is fine enough. I just wrote, do not mention any specific products. let's test this module out here, but let's copy the new prompt. So here we go, and add the prompt here just for the testing purpose. Let's check the output, completion, then choice, message, and content. We have to specify like how many characters do we want, maybe 400 characters. Let's create a description with characters or less. And let's test this one here out. And let's see, hopefully the results are better now. Let's go choice and then message. Introduction. Wait, this is like so generic. I just changed the prompt completely here. Act as a professional, write with less than 600 characters. We can skip this part and let's just copy the prompt again and run this module only, completion, choice, and message. I think it didn't have the input here. So what we are doing is just test this out completely. Let's just run it through the webhook and here we go. Let's see. Now the output hopefully should be better. Okay, way better now. Perfect. But let's increase the character number to 800 so that we have slightly bit more information. Now let's rename this one here summary so that we can find it easy. And now we have to update all of those ones here to summary, completion, choice, message, content. Let's just copy this one and do that for the rest. Okay, perfect. Now everything is upgraded. Let's save it and let's go and see what we have so far. Let's just summarize and recap everything. And after this one, I'll probably need around 1 to 2 hours to clean everything up to make the base much nicer and more appealing, to enhance the emails, to double check if all the automations are working. And then the best thing really is just to send it out to the first artists and to test this one to get feedback. And then once it's done, it should do everything on its own. So we like a post in Pinterest. That means we then create a new record inside of Airtable. The image analyzer then puts it into our database of styles. So the more we have, the better. We also create a new prompt, but this one is only if we want to create directly products. So we create new products, but this time we skip this one here completely, because with what we are doing is we ask if they are interested in a collaboration. And if they are interested in a collaboration, then they fill the form out. But when most of them are saying no, we still have the products, we still have the prompts. So we leave this one as it is, because we can generate the prompts, like the prompt completion and the automations are already set up. So everything is ready should they not be willing to collaborate, or if we figure out like the collaboration rate is too low, so we can launch the product under our end. So here, when they say yes, they have to fill out the form. They have to choose on the styles database, which we already saw how it's looking like. Then they have to join the affiliate program, which we haven't covered in this video, but if someone is interested, we can cover that as well. Then we share the terms and conditions. And if they are not interested, then they just get straight the email like, hey, your product is ready. But if they are interested, then after they read the terms and conditions, they will also get an email like, hey, your products are ready on Wix, Etsy, and TikTok. Again, like, we want to have a commission-based system, because let's just be honest, I do not believe by just creating those random products that anyone will buy them. Like, if you want to create art piece, every art piece needs a story. And we do not have the capacity to tell story. We do not want to just create a theme shop. So our theme is really with the artists, so that they feel also kind of like a ownership of the designed product themselves. So once we share that, we share the link and we share it then with the community. That's actually something we have yet to figure out if that makes sense. I'm not sure if we want to share all the time the products. Probably that will exhaust the community, because what we want ultimately is that the artists share it and we just reshare it. That's something we have to figure out. Let the art share the product. And then, of course, that's something what we can do is like to just publish a newsletter and say like, hey, we have a new product and a new event and so on. That's definitely something we will do. So that's all. I think we are done, because everything else is just cleanup and some email automations, which probably are boring to watch. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.